Have you ever felt like you're living the same day over and over again? Like a song stuck on repeat, playing the same tired melody, the same predictable chords? Maybe it's the job you drag yourself to each morning, knowing exactly how each meeting will unfold, each email will read. Or perhaps it's the relationships you maintain, conversations echoing past arguments, familiar patterns of disappointment swirling like dust devils. It's not necessarily a life filled with hardship or tragedy. In fact, it might appear perfectly acceptable from the outside. But inside, there's a dull ache, a quiet sense of being stuck. You're going through the motions, ticking off boxes on a societal checklist, but your heart feels strangely absent, disconnected from the narrative of your own life. This feeling of being trapped in a rut is more common than we often admit. We tell ourselves it's just a phase, a temporary lull before things pick up again. We bury the discontent beneath layers of busyness, hoping that if we just keep moving, the feeling will eventually dissipate. But the truth is, ignoring it only allows it to fester, to deepen its roots in the fertile ground of our unfulfilled potential. It's like ignoring a leaky faucet. The dripping might seem insignificant at first, but over time, it can erode the very foundation of your home. This isn't about dramatic reinventions or overnight transformations. It's not about quitting your job tomorrow and running off to join the circus, unless, of course, that's genuinely your calling. It's about something far more subtle, yet profoundly powerful, reclaiming agency over your own life. It's about gently nudging yourself off the well-worn path and daring to explore the uncharted territories within your own soul. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a climber, suspended mid-ascent on a seemingly insurmountable cliff face. The view from below is daunting, the summit feels impossibly distant, and the muscles in your arms are screaming in protest. You could stay there, clinging to the rock, paralyzed by fear and exhaustion. Or you could take a deep breath, refocus your gaze, and make the next move. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It can be a small, incremental shift, a slight adjustment in your grip. But it's a move nonetheless, a conscious decision to break free from the inertia and continue your journey. This is about rediscovering the spark that once ignited your imagination, the passions that have been buried beneath the weight of responsibilities and expectations. It's about dusting off those forgotten dreams and giving them permission to breathe again. The journey ahead isn't about finding a magical cure or a quick fix. It's about cultivating a deeper understanding of yourself, your values, and your unique purpose in this world. It's about learning to listen to the whispers of your heart, even when they're drowned out by the noise of everyday life. It's about creating a roadmap, not of rigid demands and unrealistic goals, but of gentle nudges and compassionate self-guidance. We'll explore practical tools and strategies to help you break free from the cycle of stagnation, to identify the underlying beliefs and patterns that are keeping you stuck, and to cultivate a sense of momentum and purpose in your life. It's a journey of self-discovery, of embracing vulnerability, and of celebrating the small victories that pave the way for lasting change. It's time to rewrite your story, to compose a new melody, and to create a life that resonates with your authentic self. Now, consider how this applies when you face the daunting task of identifying what exactly caused this feeling of being adrift. It's akin to being a detective in your own life, sifting through clues to uncover the root cause of your dissatisfaction. Often, the culprit isn't a single catastrophic event, but rather a gradual accumulation of compromises, neglected aspirations, and unacknowledged needs. Think about a time you suppressed a desire, perhaps a creative pursuit you abandoned for a more practical career, or a personal value you compromised to fit in with a particular social group. Each instance, seemingly small in isolation, contributes to the overall sense of misalignment, creating a dissonance between your inner self and your external reality. A crucial layer to consider is the role of limiting beliefs. These are the ingrained assumptions we hold about ourselves and the world, often formed in childhood, that unconsciously shape our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. For instance, you might believe you're not creative, not intelligent, or not worthy of love. These beliefs act as self-fulfilling prophecies, preventing you from pursuing opportunities and realizing your full potential. Conversely, if you hold beliefs such as, "I am capable," or "I deserve happiness," you are more likely to take risks and approach life with optimism. It's like trying to sail a ship with a faulty compass. No matter how diligently you navigate, you'll inevitably veer off course. Unearthing these limiting beliefs requires introspection, a willingness to challenge your assumptions, and a commitment to rewriting your inner narrative. Furthermore, Societal pressures and expectations often play a significant role in perpetuating this feeling of being stuck. We're bombarded with messages about what constitutes success, happiness, and fulfillment, often leading us to pursue goals that are not truly aligned with our own values. The constant comparison to others, fueled by social media, can exacerbate this sense of inadequacy, making us feel like we're falling behind or not measuring up. It is important to remember that everyone's journey is unique and that there is no one-size-fits-all definition of a fulfilling life. Instead of striving to meet external standards, focus on defining your own values and creating a life that is authentic to you. Building on this, however, it's important to acknowledge the power of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These anxieties can paralyze us, preventing us from taking the necessary steps to break free from our ruts. Fear whispers insidious doubts in our ears, convincing us that it's safer to stay where we are, even if we're unhappy. Overcoming fear requires courage, a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone, and a belief in your own resilience. Start small, taking incremental steps towards your goals, and celebrate each victory along the way. Remember that growth often happens outside of our comfort zones, and that discomfort is a sign that we're expanding our horizons. Another contributing factor is the lack of self-compassion. We often treat ourselves with far more harshness and judgment than we would ever treat a friend. We berate ourselves for our mistakes, dwell on our shortcomings, and fail to acknowledge our accomplishments. Practicing self-compassion involves treating yourself with kindness, understanding, and acceptance, especially during difficult times. It's about recognizing that you're human, that everyone makes mistakes, and that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. This can be a powerful antidote to the negativity that keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and discouragement. Learning to be your own best friend, rather than your own worst critic, can pave the way for profound and lasting change. Reflecting on this journey so far, consider the subtle, almost imperceptible shift that's begun to occur. It's akin to watching the first light of dawn gradually dispel the darkness, not in a sudden burst, but in a gentle, persistent unveiling. The initial murkiness, the feeling of being lost in a labyrinth of repetitive days, starts to yield to a nascent understanding. The threads we've traced, seemingly disparate at first glance, now begin to weave together, forming a richer, more intricate tapestry of self-awareness. It's as if we've been assembling a complex puzzle, and the individual pieces, each representing a different facet of our experience, are slowly clicking into place, revealing a clearer image of the whole. The exploration of those underlying causes and dormant dreams serves not as a mere diagnostic exercise, but as a form of excavation, unearthing the authentic self that lies buried beneath layers of societal conditioning and self-imposed limitations. It's a process of rediscovering the inherent potential that resides within each of us, the unique talents and passions that yearn to be expressed. Imagine a seed that has been dormant for years, finally finding the fertile ground and nurturing sunlight it needs to germinate and blossom. This is the transformative power of self-reflection, the ability to cultivate the inner conditions necessary for growth and fulfillment. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, not as a rigid, predetermined route, but as a series of possibilities, a landscape of opportunities waiting to be explored. The emphasis shifts from striving for an elusive ideal to embracing the journey itself, with all its twists and turns, its moments of joy and its inevitable setbacks. It's about cultivating a mindset of curiosity and experimentation, of being willing to step outside of your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. This is not about seeking perfection, but about progress, about continually learning and evolving, about becoming the best version of yourself, one small step at a time. Drawing these strands together, we see that the key lies not in eradicating the feeling of being stuck altogether, but in changing our relationship to it. Instead of viewing it as a sign of failure or inadequacy, we can learn to recognize it as a signal, an invitation to pause, to reflect, and to realign ourselves with our true values and aspirations. It's about developing the capacity to navigate the inevitable challenges of life with grace and resilience, to embrace imperfection, and to find meaning and purpose in the midst of uncertainty. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider the cumulative effect of these subtle shifts in perspective. It's like learning to play a musical instrument. The initial awkwardness and frustration gradually give way to a sense of fluency and mastery as we develop the muscle memory and coordination necessary to express ourselves through the medium of sound. Similarly, as we cultivate self-awareness, self-compassion, and a willingness to embrace change, we begin to unlock our own potential for creating a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. The melody of our lives, once stuck on repeat, begins to evolve, to expand, to resonate with the authentic rhythm of our hearts. The journey is far from over, and there will undoubtedly be moments of doubt and discouragement along the way. But armed with these insights, and with a renewed sense of self-belief, you are now better equipped to navigate the challenges ahead and to create a life that is truly your own. It's about embracing the power of choice, of taking responsibility for your own happiness, and of creating a future that is filled with hope, purpose, and possibility. The escape hatch is within reach. Now, armed with these tools and insights, you stand at a threshold. It's not the finish line, not the grand finale, but rather a starting point, a new perspective from which to view the landscape of your life. Imagine standing on a hilltop after a long climb, the air crisp and clear, the panorama stretching out before you, revealing contours and pathways previously hidden from view. The journey to this point has been one of excavation, of uncovering buried truths and reclaiming forgotten dreams. But the real adventure lies in what you choose to do with this newfound awareness, how you translate these insights into tangible action, and how you cultivate a life that resonates with your authentic self. The core message woven through this journey is not about escaping reality, but about embracing it fully, with all its imperfections and complexities. It's about recognizing that the feeling of being stuck is not a personal failing, but a universal human experience, a signal that something within us is yearning for change. It's about learning to listen to that signal, to approach it with curiosity and compassion, and to use it as a catalyst for growth. The escape hatch we've been seeking is not an external solution, a magical fix that will instantly transform our lives. It's an internal shift, a change in perspective, a willingness to embrace vulnerability and to step outside of our comfort zones. But this shift requires ongoing commitment, a daily practice of self-reflection and self-compassion. It's about cultivating a mindset of continuous learning, of being open to new experiences, and of embracing the inevitable setbacks as opportunities for growth. It's about surrounding yourself with supportive relationships, with people who believe in your potential and who encourage you to pursue your dreams. And perhaps most importantly, it's about celebrating the small victories along the way, acknowledging the progress you've made, and giving yourself permission to feel proud of your accomplishments. The true practice begins now, not with a grand gesture or a sweeping declaration, but with a quiet intention, a commitment to living each day with greater awareness and authenticity. It's about making conscious choices that align with your values, about honoring your needs, and about creating a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. It's about recognizing that you are the author of your own story, and that you have the power to rewrite the narrative, to compose a new melody, and to create a life that resonates with the authentic rhythm of your heart. So, take a deep breath, embrace the unknown, and step forward with courage and conviction. The path ahead may not always be easy, but it is yours to create, to shape, and to explore. And as you navigate the twists and turns of life, remember that you are not alone, that you are capable, and that you deserve to live a life that is filled with joy, purpose, and possibility. Let the insights gained here serve as a guiding light, illuminating your path and empowering you to create a future that is truly your own. The world awaits the unique expression of your authentic self.